Today on In the Wood Yard, we're going to talk about limbwood and some wood identification. Here we go. I'm at work yet. I just got changed into my wood yard clothes from my photography clothes, and I'm going to hook up the trailer. We're going to head out to the wood yard, and I've got to put a load of wood on for a customer, and we're going to do that and then deliver it. While I'm doing that, there's something that has come up several times in the comments. People that have asked me questions. Number one is, how in the world do I identify all the kinds of wood that I have in the wood yard? Well, it's taken a lot of years to be able to, I can tell you that. I look at every tree, I look at every chunk of wood, I look at every log I get, and I try to identify it. And if I can't figure it out, I take a picture of it, I send it to my brother. I got another guy that knows a lot about trees, I have him look at it, and we try to figure it out. Generally, it's just a matter of looking at the bark, looking at the grain of the wood, the grain structure, the structure of the bark, the smell of it, the weight of it, what it sounds like. I mean, taste it, I guess, smell it. There's so many things. There are certain kinds of wood you can actually smell and identify. Elm I can identify by smelling it, ash, red oak, white oak, cherry, hickory. Definitely can identify cottonwood because it smells like horse manure. It's nasty. So a lot of it you can smell, especially if you split it open. Even if it's an old piece and you split it open and you smell it, it has a distinct odor. You can kind of smell it. Some of it you can tell it by obviously looking at the grain of the wood. As wood ages, like this stuff behind me here, this is all hard maple. It will definitely weather, which means it turns gray, dark, black. It changes color, and then it gets harder, and then the bark falls off. As it dries, it shrinks up. It gets very hard to tell what kind of wood it is, but there's a lot of indicators you can look for, and the only way I can say is that it takes time. It's not something you're going to take a course in, an hour and you're going to know. It's a lifetime of looking, and I constantly am grabbing the pieces from the piles as I'm loading wood and handling them, and I identify it. As I'm cutting the wood, I look, oh yeah, there's a piece of ash. Oh yeah, there's a piece of soft maple. Oh yeah, this is definitely hickory. And then I'm separating some of it too, because some of the wood, the specific kinds of wood, I put into certain areas because I sell those kinds of wood to specific people, because people that smoke meat generally want three kinds of wood. They want white oak, hickory, and cherry. White oak being number one, hickory probably number two, and then cherry. They all burn good, they all smell good. I love cherry. It's easy to cut, easy to split, easy to dry, smells fantastic, burns great. I love cherry. And I get asked that all the time. That's another question that comes up on the channel. And people say, if you could pick one kind of wood, only one kind that you'd have to have the rest of your life to either cut, burn, sell, whatever, I'd pick cherry. It would only be followed by oak. And the only reason I would say oak is because so many people want oak, that oak sells really well. But I personally like cherry. So there's that. Then we're going to also talk about some limbwood. I'm going to show you some examples of limbwood in the pile as we're loading it. And there's a bunch of people that ask questions about that, and they want to know, do I cut limbwood? Do I like limbwood? Do I burn limbwood? Do I sell wood? Yes, 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 and yes. I like limbwood, all the way down to about wrist size, so about that big. I would say, 2.5, 3 inches. Much smaller than that, not so much. Then I'll just leave it. Sometimes I'll take it and I'll cut it, and the thing is with limbwood, it takes a lot of it to add up because it's so small. You get a lot more wood from a big round, and as you split it down, you get dozens of pieces off of a big, 20, 25, 30-inch piece of wood. You're going to get a lot of wood off of it, and that's a good thing. Limbwood, you got to have lots of limbs, but it burns good. It's good fire starter. It might not be kindling, but it's good as you get your fire burning with paper and cardboard, or you're kindling, and then you can put the little limbwood on, and then it takes off, and then you can put the bigger stuff on. So it's good to have in the mix. I do like it. Some limbwood, especially from really big, really old trees, the lower limbs that are substantial sized, that are, can be 8, 10, 12 inches. And even if you go real far out, if it's a tree that's growing the branches horizontally for a long ways, those branches are working hard to hang on to the tree, and they're generally pretty old because all the new growth is generally up above, so that's where you're going to have more of the growth. So it's a slow growth a lot of times on the limbwood, so it's tighter grained, so it's more heat, it's more dense wood, and it's good wood. Another one of the things that people ask me about, do I split the limbwood? Yes, I do, all the way down to this size, because number one, I'm selling most of my wood. I want it to be dry for the customer. And I know you could leave it and it would dry, but if you get a piece of wood this big and it's got bark on it and you want to turn it over in say 6 months, which a lot of the wood you can, if you dry it properly, if it's in the elements, if it's in the sun and the wind a lot, it will dry fast. And if you split it, it's going to dry faster. Bark is basically skin. It is the tree's skin. And if you keep all that bark on there, it's going to hold the moisture in. I have had oak trees that I have cut down, or trees that have been blown down in the wind that have been laying there, whatever size oak trees, for years before the bark will come off. It'll be 3, 4, 5, 6 years, then the bark will come off. Then when the bark comes off, then it starts to dry slowly to the inside. But I've had wood that I know that I've cut up from trees that have blown down, broke off, that I've cut down and left laying for 5, 6, 7 years. You split it open, it's still wet on the inside. But when you split it, the drying increases dramatically. So yes, I split the limbwood. The other nice thing about limbwood, it dries fast. It stacks easier because as you have more flat pieces, I'll reach back here and grab one. So if you've got flat pieces, as you have those flat sides, it stacks nicer, especially if you're doing a crisscross on an end and you want to build an end up so that it's not going to fall over on you, which can happen. But it'll stack real nice and solid if you got the flat pieces. Round stuff tends to roll and fall and go all over the place, so I do split it. There. Now we're going to go hook up the trailer, we're going to go out to the wood yard and we're going to load some wood. All right, so I just finished loading up the face cord 1/3 of a cord, a rick, a rink, a row, half a trailer load full of wood into the trailer to be delivered. And I got to tell you, this stuff is so dry, I'm afraid to even rub 2 pieces together. This stuff is like 2 years old and it hasn't rained now in a couple weeks. And this is stuff that's been sitting out here for quite a while. It's kind of spread out because all the debris from this big, huge pile, because this pile used to be that big or even bigger, and it's all just settling down and all the bark is coming off. And there's a lot of species of wood in here that the bark comes off. You can see a lot of it in here. So there's a lot of soft maple, there's box elder, there's elm, some hard maple, some cherry, there's apple wood. Let's see what else I find. I think I said hard maple. Oh, a lot of ash bark in there too. So that's kind of what this pile is here. Now, as I was pulling this out, I thought I would show you guys some kinds of wood here that I found as I was going and explain a couple things, because I've had some questions lately on the channel that were very good questions that deserve an answer. So I thought now is the time to talk about it. So the question, actually there's 2 questions that have come up a lot lately. I've got a lot of new people on the channel watching that they tell me flat out, hey, I'm new to this whole firewood thing, bought a house, got a wood stove, got a fireplace, bought a place in the country, got a fire pit now, and I need to learn about firewood. And one of the questions I get a lot is, how in the heck do I identify all these kinds of wood that I have? And all I can say is it takes years. And I try to identify every single piece of wood as I grab it from a pile of mixed hardwood. Now, mixed hardwood, I'm going to have everything from birch to applewood to cherry to elm to soft maple to box elder. Could have hackberry. I'm just going off the top of my head. All the kinds of wood that I don't really separate into the main kind of wood. For instance, that pile there is almost all ash. That pile there, where the wall gave out, is all hard maple. You can see that's all hard maple there. And while I was gone on vacation, it looks like we had an explosion. I had it stacked really high, and it was leaning. I should have braced it, but I'll pick this up, throw it back in, and it'll be okay. No big deal that the wall broke. That's like the 3rd one that's broke now. That over there is cherry. This over here is all ash. That's all beech there. That big pile you see over there where the snowman fell over, that is all red maple. I'm sorry, red oak. And the pile that's around the corner here, see as I go this way, this is all red oak here, all red oak, all the way through here. And then all of this back here is all white oak. All of this. There's a lot of white oak here. All of this, all the way down to here. So that's all white oak. And then I got another big bin of white oak. This here is mixed hardwood again, just a bunch of different stuff. And this end down here is soft maple all the way to right here, and then this is locust. So I separate all my species. They're the main ones, so that would be the hard maple, the cherry, the hickory, the red oak, the white oak, the locust, hard maple. Well, the hard maple I also put in ironwood with that, and then white oak. And that big bin you see way up over there, that one over there, that's all white oak too. And so yeah, I try to separate the main kinds of wood. Oh, and then the pine, spruce, balsam, that all gets separated, so that's softwood. And the reason I do that is I have a lot of people that are specific species lovers, especially oak. There's a lot of people that have to have oak because that's all they know is oak, and that's what they ask for. And then there's people that smoke with meat and they want either cherry, hickory, or white oak. And then there's people that heat with wood and they want the best wood, so they're going to want locust, they're going to want oak, they're going to want ironwood, hard maple, that kind of stuff. So they will ask for it. Now this particular customer, this is for campfire wood, and he said mixed hardwood's fine, so that's what he said he would take. So that's what I've got here. So what you see here is a mixture of stuff. Now these right here, this is red oak. I can see right here, if you look close at it, it is red oak. That's these two, and there was a few other ones in there. This is a piece of cherry, you can see by the color of it, and there's no bark on it, but I just know that's cherry. The next three pieces here are box elder. This one here, and you can see here, if you look at this pink on here, that's a real indicator of it, and the bark is the indicator of it. The next three pieces here are applewood. This one right here is applewood, applewood, applewood. This one here is even, oh, there's four of them, 4 applewoods, and there were some other ones. This one right here is some birch. This looks like some white birch. Actually, this could have been an ornamental, like a river birch, because it's real shaggy like. Then we got some ash. This is ash with bark on it, a young tree. This is ash. You can see, if you can see all the worm marks in there on the side of the wood, that's an indicator. And then obviously the grain is ash. And then we've got elm. You can tell by the grain of the texture, pattern of the bark. And then you can tell by the grain and the stringiness on the inside that this is elm. Here's a piece of limbwood from elm with that there. And then this one right here, I only saw this one. There's a piece of ironwood, you can tell by the bark. Hottest burning wood we have in Wisconsin, ironwood, is like 29 million BTUs. This here is hard maple. There was only a few of these. You can see by the bark right here, that is hard maple, and I can tell by the weight of it, and the look of it is maple on the inside. Here's another piece of hard maple. Again, I can tell by the weight of it, it's heavy, and I can tell just by looking at it, this is hard maple. And then over here is some soft maple. Now the soft maple has bark on it, so it's easy to see. This is limbwood, and then here's from a trunk of a tree from soft maple, or it would be silver maple. Some people call it different things, but that's what that is. And then that brings up the next thing that is been asked of me several times. Do I burn limbwood? Do I split limbwood? Do I like limbwood? Yes, yes, and yes. That's the answer. I like limbwood. I split it, and I burn it, and I sell it. And here's why. So this right here is basically a piece of limbwood. Anything that's smaller than like about 3 inches, and this is box elder, it burns great. It's you pop it in half, splits good. Here's a piece of apple limbwood. See how small that is? That's about as small as I would generally get a piece of wood. But I still split it because it dries better split. It's going to dry way better split, even though you wouldn't have to split, especially if you're doing boiler wood. You certainly wouldn't need to split this, but I do because I want it dry for my customers. So yes, I split limbwood. Here's another one. This one right here, this piece of elm. See how small that is? Basically about arm size, wrist size. I split this because I want it to dry. I want it dry for my customers, so I split it. These pieces of maple here, basically limbwood size. These small ones right here. And I said, yes, here's a real small one. I split these because I want them to dry. I don't want someone getting a stick of wood and then have it be sizzling and have it be the one piece, and then they say, oh, your wood's sizzling, it's not dry. And that was one piece. So I split it all. If it's so small that it's like this size, I generally don't even have that wood. I don't keep it. So it's got to be like 2 to 3 inches at the minimum, but it's still good wood and it burns, and people like it, especially for campfires. because it's nice to start a fire with, or to put it on when you first get your kindling going, to put that small stuff on like that, and it burns great. It's really nice wood. If you want to add some flame to it, throw some small stuff on. That's why I've got it in there, but there's also some bigger things in here too. So there's the lesson for the day. Now we're gonna go deliver it. We're gonna do a big steamy dump. So I just got back from my delivery and you did not see the dump. You did not see the big steamy dump. I got there, backed into the driveway. He comes out with his money in his hand. He goes, "Here you go." And so I took it. We started chatting. His wife came out. She started talking. Two boys came out. They put gloves on. They were ready to start chucking wood. We started talking and I raised it up, dumped the wood. I thought, dang, I never even turned the camera on. So sorry about that. But I got back here. I disconnected the trailer right now because I'm going to use it tomorrow morning here to do some work. And I'm going home now. It's time for a nice cold drink. That's all I got for today, folks. See you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. I'll be here waiting for you. Good night, Irene.